because what can someone who doesn't love you do for you that you can't already do for yourself? You ever watched a show and thought, oh man, that feels real? When people think of Tom and Jerry, they just think of the hijinks and frying pans and Tom whacking himself in the face with a rake. They probably don't think about hopelessness. My name is Shelby Johnson. I'm a therapist in Memphis who works with young adults and adolescents just trying to sift through things and work their way through life. Sanford Sun teaches us about family pressure. The Twilight Zone can teach us about fear or identity. Seinfeld can teach us about the pressure to have it all together. We're not just watching TV, we're unpacking it. If you ever felt the weight of the world on your shoulders or found it difficult to navigate this world, you're not alone. So this particular episode that I'm thinking about was called Blue Cat Blues, and it's just one I'll never forget. It was about how Tom really was interested in this lady cat. And he really, really, really wanted her attention so badly. And so he did anything he could to get it. He took out a loan for a car. He did all types of outlandish things that, many young men probably do for ladies they're interested in, but he went above and beyond. And throughout this episode, Jerry was actually trying to convince Tom that all these over the top things weren't worth it. He doesn't have to spend all this money to find her love. He doesn't have to do all these things. But Tom was determined. And with each growing thing that he would do, that lady cat was less interested and less interested. Well, at any rate, at the end of the episode, this lady cat found a very rich cat who happened to just drive by in this really nice car, and she gets in the car with him, and Tom is left heartbroken. At the end of the episode, you see Tom sitting on a train track waiting for that train to just come end it all. And Jerry is sitting there thinking to himself, man, I'm so glad I have a young lady who's faithful to me. Next thing you know, she gets into the car of a wealthy mouse and they just drive off. And of course, Jerry is also inconsolable. So what does he do? He goes and sits next to Tom on that train track as they both look forlorn, waiting for the train to just come by. And this episode stuck with me because it was way more intense than I'd ever remember Tom and Jerry. We put our energy into people who aren't necessarily going to put that back onto us. And it also struck me because sometimes we put our value so deeply in others that we forget our intrinsic value. We forget what it's like to love ourselves and put that type of energy into ourselves. And so it just sort of gave me a sense of sadness, but also just a reminder of it's important to both love ourselves and to not necessarily not love others, but to put our efforts into people who will love us back and not people who will just sort of take that and take it for granted. And it makes me ask questions like, why does rejection hurt so badly? And why do we put our energy so deeply into others? And it also sort of made me wonder, why can't we always think of ourselves as much? One thing I've learned is that we were, in fact, built for relationship. That's just sort of how we were made. That's how God made us. We were built for relationship. And it does hurt when that relationship is separated or doesn't happen because, again, we were built for that. I think it's all about finding those who will value us like we value them and being able to find people who will pour that energy into us as we do to them. Another thing I've considered is, again, we don't always have that intrinsic value that we should. We search for that from others because we're not comfortable with ourselves. We don't think of ourselves as we should in that regard. And so maybe sometimes, as opposed to pouring out so deeply onto others, maybe we try to find a rekindling with ourselves. What is it that we like? What is it that we want out of life? What are we good at? What are the things that we should strive for? And I think if we are able to grow to love ourselves more and grow more comfortable ourselves, not only are we better off for it, but we are also able to find others who are in this with us and also find others who will value us just as much as we value them because we now have that boundary, we have that self-love to gratify the love that we're looking for from others. And what's also interesting to me is how we as an audience saw ourselves in Tom. I think in watching Tom, one of the interesting things is that again we do go above and beyond and we do these outlandish, crazy things to seek the approval or attention or affection from others, whether it's a romantic interest, a platonic love, any type of relationship. And we don't always think that this can lead us into a dark place. And when those things don't happen that we really want in life, it can cause us to be down. It can cause us to question our own self worth or question our place. And I think it's easy as a society to not be able to see past that. It's hard as a society to really find again that self love, that self gratification that that we should be able to have in order to again love ourselves better and love each other better. And so I think one thing we can learn from Tom is yes, it is okay to love others, and yes, it is okay to sometimes go above and beyond for the people who are worth that. And I think the bigger lesson is we have to have enough self value, self worth, self respect to understand that it's okay to not have to do that. These TV shows might be over, but the conversations surrounding them don't have to be.